including a fucking ass safety in the back of your end zone, should not have won. They find a way to win. That seems to be what this Dolphins team. Here's the stat right here. Yes, 90 offensive plays to 39 offensive plays, 31 first downs to 15 first downs, 497 total yards to 212 total yards, 5 punts for the Dolphins. One of them being,
the butt punt.
Yeah, safety. PP can't back up there. I mean, as I'm watching and I'm actually saying that while I'm cutting the video, and then I put the video up, and obviously it is quite a scene. And Mike Golick Jr. had an incredible tweet from the photo of that football right on the ass of old Cuzzy. And he said, this is how I'm going to tell my son that footballs are born or whatever. Hilarious opportunity, because that photo is going to live forever.
Oh, yeah.
That photo is going to live forever. And I think back in the old school days, there maybe would have been an automatic blame on the punter.
Probably.
I think there would have been. So I had to make sure I got it out there as fast as possible, because I feel like I'm one of the only representations of punters out here. Not that I love it, but I think there should be more punters, good football players, good football brains, good personalities, great beer drinkers, all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, PP backed up situation cannot back up. He's actually taught to push forward. So he's trying to create as much room as possible to get a ball off. Thomas Morstead is trying to get that thing out as quick as possible. He has baby tiny steps to begin with. So maybe there is a chance he could have shortened up a tiny bit, but the PP backing up can't have it, can't happen. That is literally in a backed up situation one of the only things that can't take place. So kind of a miscommunication. They learn from it, they move on, they somehow still win, but that's a moment that'll live in the annals of football history.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
and, Sanchez, and also, probably get to it later, Orlovsky, they both had great days because of that. But it feels like now with the Bills, they lose Micah Hyde for the year. Jordan Poyer didn't play. But they're still in games. Like, it feels as though even if the Dolphins were to, put up 28 points with that defense, they only let up 21, though. Like, it still seems to me, at least, that the Bills are in the driver's seat. And obviously Miami, they get the win and their defense can hang on, even though they played half the game, 40 minutes of the game. But, I mean, the AFC East is just unbelievable now.
Yeah, I enjoy everything that's popping off. And, I mean, the butt punt, the ass safety is probably the best thing that we could ever potentially debut this motherfucker.
Oh, hell
Here
yeah.
we go.
Here we go.
So if you see what I'm seeing here, I'll put a spotlight on it. This is the punter, okay? You see old Thomas Morstead right there. And you see this is the PP right here. You see?
Oh, yeah.
Right here, PP.
Yep.
Okay, so in between these two dudes is a pretty vital piece of space there.
Whoa.
This thing's
Is that
awesome.
an arrow?
What's that, dude? Whoa. What's that? Are you talking about this thing right here? Is that what you're talking about? Are you
Zoom
talking about
features?
the arrow right there?
How'd you do that?
Yeah, this is called a backed up punt, though, if you see, because the ball is being snapped at about the 1 yard line up here, okay? You see it's at about the 1 yard line. So you only have like 11 yards if you were to stand on the back end line right here. You see, if you were to stand there, you'd have a full 11 yards, but you can't stand there. Why? Dan Orlovsky taught us that. Jimmy G taught us that last night. That would be called a safety. So you have to inch up a little bit, and you also have to have a little bit of space, you see, little bit of space right there for, that was pretty fucking good. I did not know we had that. You have a little bit of space right there, so if you have to move for the snap, if the snap isn't centered, you have to move. So you have to brace for all of those things. Now, whenever the play runs, if that guy backs up, which he certainly did, you can see how this space is now much, much shorter, right? When we already had a limited amount of space. And if you get a good shot from that angle going straight up there, it is basically asking, right? I mean, that is sitting right in the punt spot. I mean, that is just asking. I mean, that is basically.
Come on. Room.
This is a setup for a massive, massive storyline in the end. Bang! Right off the ass.
Landed on him.
Anytime you see two guys just fucking, oh no, in the back during a punt, one being the punter, one being the PP, you know it's not great. Anytime you hear the thud, thud, it's bad, especially when it's off of your PP's ass. And they're lucky it wasn't a touchdown. That thing got far enough for it to be a safety. And honestly, it's just in his mind, he's thinking, I got to get this off. I don't have a lot of space. In the PP's mind, he's thinking, I got to brace for some contact. And instead, because of that, he backs up. He's not got a lot of space. And that's a recipe for ball to the taint. And that's just, it's not great for anybody. And obviously it's not great for the punters everywhere. And I feel for Thomas Morstead, it's just, I mean.
Look at that.
Look at this. I mean, right now, if you think about this guy's head, right? And if we were to really, he has no idea. He thinks he's doing it.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
perfect.
in his he's like, I'm scanning the field. I'm doing everything right. Holy shit, they're not bringing as much pressure as we had maybe practiced in practice for a backed up situation, because this is a good time to get a great push and run all these dudes back into him. So his job is actually to go forward to keep that thing away, obviously, and the opposite takes place, and the ball goes off an ass instead of into the sky.
So in that situation, first things first, that's fucking incredible that you can do that. That was really sweet. In this situation, because I feel like most of the time, at least to the layman, like they are sending an all-out pump block here. Are you more worried about that, or the fact that you don't have as much space as you normally would on a regular punt?
So normal punt blocks, you have space. You have like 14 to 15 yards, depending. I saw Wisnowski lines up at like 13. He's kind of awesome to watch. He punts to the side almost. He's like a soccer goalie.
Yeah.
He's an Aussie rules football guy, but you see like some of the soccer goalies, they started throwing soccer up sideways and they started like slapping it almost like a volley as opposed to straight ahead. They were able to get, I think, a little bit of a chopper and get it to go higher and further. It was awesome. Normally can't do that with a football, because if you're trying to hit a spiral, you got to go straight through it. He's never trying to hit a spiral. He is just blasting that fucking ball. He has to swing so hard every single time, because with an Aussie rules ball, it's bigger. It's a little balloon. It's a balloon version of this. So the sweet spot's fucking large. It's also easier to indent because the leather's softer than it is on a Duke. So one of those bigger balls, like a soccer ball, much rounder, you can kind of hit it in a lot different spots, and the sweet spot's bigger. For a football, you got to hit it. If you're trying to spiral that thing, there's like a spot like that big, basically. You got to put your foot through. So everybody's very robotic. He just drops that motherfucker just like this everywhere and murders it. I am so impressed by it. The amount of control that he had, absolutely very fucking good out of him and Waitman last night. That was the Sunday Night Football punt bowl following the Iowa-Rutgers punt bowl on Saturday.
Right.
The punt's the most important position and most important play in football. People are just now starting to realize it. That game was a snooze fest last night, all right?
Bad.
Even I was falling asleep, but every time the punter came on the field, electricity took place. So normally it's like 14 to 15 yards. Your block spot's at like 10 yards. Normally a little skip in there. Wisnowski does it different. So when it's at 11 and you're lined up at 10 already, you're just trying to get it out as fast as possible. So I'm sure Thomas could have went faster. Old Buddy could have not backed up, but that is a very scary situation for any punt to get off. That's why every quarterback, I think, in every offense is trying to get to like 4 or 5, no matter what happens. Hey, on third down, we're trying to get to the fucking 4 or the 5 so we can get some space here, because normally if you block a punt and you get a safety out of it, you win a game.
Right.
Dolphins were able to accomplish the ass punt, the taint hit, the butt punt, and still win a game somehow, and that's why the NFL is fucking great, baby.